back, you're watching Storyboard. Revenge travel was one of the key trends of the past year. This was good news for OTAs like Flipkart Group owned Cleartrip. In an exclusive conversation with Dilshad Irani, Cleartrip CEO Ayyappan R gives us a quick recap of the company's growth in 2022 and the growth strategy for 2023. He also sheds light on the key trends and expectations from the travel industry and what end users can look forward to this year.
Welcome to Storyboard 18, Ayyappan. It's lovely to have you on the show.
My pleasure, Dilshad. Thanks for having me.
I would love to just sort of dig into, the past couple of years. Travel, of course, came back with a vengeance once restrictions lifted. And one of the key trends of the past year or so has been the idea of revenge travel. So quickly, if you could tell me a little bit about how Cleartrip how did it fare in terms of capturing that pent-up demand, essentially? And how has the past year been for you?
Yeah, I think it's been phenomenal, which is basically the last 12 to 14 months is when the travel has been truly back. And a lot of travel players did not foresee the sort of pent-up demand that is going to come in. So this includes even airlines, hotels, OTA players, everybody. So the supply started getting crunched. So it's very strange to see this, because usually you expect that the demand would be slowing. And you know what do I do with the parked flights that is going to be on the tarmac? But very, very surprisingly, the demand came up so high that actually the number of flights that are flying now are not good enough for catering the demand that is coming in. So across domestic flights and hotels, firstly, this is like a huge boost. Also, in a way, I would say it's a blessing in disguise for the domestic tourism, because I would say international tourism is not completely 100% back. But when it comes to domestic, it's truly back. And that's one. The second is like the prices. If you look at it, it is like easily 15 to 20% more than what we have seen pre-COVID. And this industry is like one of the highest price point categories already. And India is known as a value economy. In spite of that, when you see that 15 to 20% price jump, in spite of that, consumers traveling is like unheard of. So if I go back and look at the numbers, usually it has a sort of an uplift during the typical seasons. Like there is summer vacation, there is winter vacation, there is this December and the Christmas, New Year. During these periods, definitely the demand goes up. But post that, it starts to come down. But what's very surprising is it's not been coming down at all. So the prices have been going up, down, but the demand has been there, right there. So for us, the platform as well, it's been a huge learning curve, because at that scale, and this is the exact period when Flipkart acquired Cleartrip as well. So it's like Cleartrip 2.0 for us. So that happening along with the revenge travel, it's like I would say a lot of changes happening within. And it's like I said, it's a blessing in disguise, not just for the industry, but for Cleartrip as a brand as well.
Tell me a little bit about the customer insights, consumer insights that informed, the strategy, the concept that you came up with. And because essentially what you're saying is that travel is not an expense. It is not a luxury. It's something that you invest in. So just a little bit about the campaign.
So 22 was all about, like I was talking about earlier, it was about creating that flexibility for customers. So we had to launch products like Cleartrip Flex, Cleartrip Flex Max, where consumers don't need to be scared about like, what if I get COVID? What if there is a COVID fear in the country? And if I cancel, will I get the refund? So it was all about creating that flexibility so that they can cancel and get the money back. They can modify the flight without paying any additional charge. And if they need to take a refund, they can do that in 24 hours. So all of this was sort of name of the game for 2022. But come 2023, I think people are starting to move on from that. And we also realize that consumers are saying that, and it's a complete set of an insight and what we have been able to gather from the consumers, right? It's more working customers backward there. Because typically, if you look at it, in the OTT space, like which is your digital video streaming platforms, I've seen players talking about, my biggest competition is the sleep, right? And that's what we are fighting against. Very similarly for us, that's what we when we were looking at it, the customers were talking about is like, why is travel spoken about as an expense? Right? It's a time where we invest with families, with friends, with our loved ones. It's about taking those thrills, taking those adventures, taking that sort of an experience. I learn a lot, I grow a lot as an individual. So whenever you speak about growth, when you speak about learning, when you're speaking about fun, it cannot be an expense, right? So that's where it became a sort of a strategy for us, or the consumer insight for us, to consider travel not as an expense, but investing in yourself. And this is the only investment which is not subject to market risk, right? Irrespective of what's going to happen, and we all know what's happening in the market, there is going to be an absolute resistance to the market risk when it comes to this industry, because you can be rest assured when you're going to travel, you're just going to have fun and you're going to learn a lot. So that's where this entire campaign came about. And specifically, we also wanted to target a few segments,
which are again informing your strategies on the product front, services front, and your marketing outlook for the year to come.
So I'll talk about maybe 2 or 3 big behavior changes that we have started seeing, right? One, consumers used to plan their vacations way ahead of their actual vacation. At least if you look at the domestic flight ticket booking, it used to happen like 3 weeks ahead of the journey. Post-COVID, people are very finicky about it. People are very daisy about booking just in the 3-week period, because what if something changes and some new COVID wave comes in and all of that. So because of this, the ticket booking has started becoming the 2-week sort of an affair. So if my travel date is going to be on the 1st, then I book my tickets only on the 18th or 19th of the current month. So that is one huge behavior change we have started seeing. And also internally, it makes it difficult for the airline partners also to plan that way, because you need to deploy your aircrafts basis the demand that you see. So that's where our flexibility constructs that we started investing as well started helping, because this way people are able to book way early and still don't need to worry about like what's going to happen if the plan changes. So this is one big consumer behavior change. Second is, when it comes to domestic vacations, the lot more domestic vacations used to happen within the state, because when it comes to international, people were able to move outside, and especially Southeast Asian countries, US, Europe, Australia, and all these countries. Now, because of visa issues, because of the international supply is not still at par with what it used to be pre-COVID, people are actually thinking of taking vacations domestically, but outside their state. So from the search and from whatever data we could see from the consumers, at least 60% of the travel intent seems to be outside the home state that they are part of. Earlier, it used to be much higher. So we believe this is happening because the international demand is moving into domestic, but it is happening outside the home state, because that's when they want to spend a lot more time. It's not about the weekend getaway, but it's about like spending that 7 days, 10 days, 15 days. Because like we all have seen, every organization, every corporate has embraced working from home, and the flexibility in working has gone up multiple notches up, right? So because of all of this, people are able to take a larger buckets, whether it's off or not, they are going and working somewhere. Weekends, they are trying to take the time off and working from anywhere. So the second behavior change is definitely about this. Third, very, very unexplored sort of places are something that we are seeing. If the usual suspects like your Goa, your Northeast, your Kerala, all these are like sort of usual suspects. But what we are seeing is that people are even exploring places like Hampi, people are exploring Jodhpur. Within Northeast, they are going and exploring places which generally doesn't see a lot of footfalls. So these are again indicators to see that people are traveling like there is no tomorrow. And I don't want to just go to the usual places. I want to go to places where people have not been. I want to flaunt about it. I want to Insta about it. And that's how the behavior has changed. So which is very good to see. But so overall, it's been very good for the industry, such behavior change.
Thank you so much for your time. It was lovely chatting with you, Ayyappan.
Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, it's a wrap on Storyboard this week. You can catch all of our content on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Thanks for watching. We will be back same time next week. See you soon.
Different